Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining in and being part of this evening. On behalf of TCS iON, I, Rahul Soni, welcome you all to this Jobinar. From resume to interview, your complete guide to landing a job. Entering media, advertising, and tech-driven creative roles is highly competitive today. 60 to 75% of applications are rejected by ATS and AI tools. And from the remaining ones, 30 to 40% portfolios are filtered out. Interviews eliminate another 20 to 30%. And finally, only 3 to 7% candidates receive an offer. This clearly shows one thing. Resumes alone don't get you hired. Companies now hire people who can show how they have applied creativity and technology to solve real business problems. But don't worry, today you have the opportunity to hear from a recruitment leader who has screened thousands of resumes and portfolios. He will cover what recruiters really look for, why some candidates get shortlisted without big names, common mistakes students make while preparing resumes, and how to present skills, campaigns, projects, and AI-enabled work in the way that makes recruiters say, this is the person we want. And I must say, this is the moment I have personally been waiting for, and I hope you as well. So we are thrilled to have with us our esteemed guest speaker for today, Mr. Balaji Sridhar, who has 15 years of experience in talent acquisition. Balaji has built an inspiring career connecting people with their dream jobs. From hiring for Hogarth to managing global recruitment strategies, he has seen it all in the dynamic world of hiring. For him, recruitment isn't just about filling roles, it's about finding the perfect fit, shaping careers, and driving success for both individuals and organizations. His passion for helping people grow extends to mentoring students, guiding them on interviews, sharing practical career advice, and explaining how recruitment trends shape industries. And today, we will have the privilege for all of us to learn directly from it. So let's welcome Balaji. Thank you for joining today, Mr. Balaji.
Thank you, Rahul. It's a privilege to be part of TCS iON's webinar. Great opportunity for us to interact with students, the youngsters who's coming out of the college. So I think TCS iON has been instrumental in connecting the industry with the young talent that's coming out there. It is really something that they would consider as an opportunity to listen to what it takes to land into their first jobs. So I should say on behalf of the students out there and from the industry point of view to just render my thanks and congratulations for hosting such an event. So thanks to begin with.
Thank you for your remarks, Balaji. So audience, I am sure the introduction already gave you a sense of the rich experience he brings. This is a great chance to learn from someone who has been deeply involved in the hiring landscape. So drop your questions in the chat box. We will pick the ones most aligned with today's topic. So Balaji, I would like to ask our first question to you. The media and advertising world today doesn't look like it did even 5 years ago. AI is changing campaigns, data is shaping decisions, and creative plus tech skills are now emerging. So for students entering this world, how would you explain what has really changed in hiring and what they should now focus on to become employable in this tech-driven advertising era?
Yeah. So thanks, Rahul. I was just looking at the poll results, and I can sense that web development, data science, AI and ML, followed by the cybersecurity as their top 4 preferences that I could see. Right. So to begin with, let me introduce myself, Balaji here from a company called Hogarth Worldwide. Hogarth is part of WPP network, WPP group. And I head the talent acquisition team out here to predominantly hiring for India, right? Now, domain could be different. We are into advertising domain. Having said that, we also have departments within Hogarth with the likes of web development, a bit of cybersecurity, because every company, doesn't matter which domain they are coming from. Some of the poll results that you have mentioned, this is going to be part of every domain, every industry. If it is a pharmaceutical company, you would have an AML team which works on automation projects. You will have the IT team which takes care of the infra requirements pertaining to the cybersecurity, a data team which has got the data engineering team separately and data science team separately, and you also have the development team, right? So doesn't matter if it is a tech company that you are applying with, or if it is a pharmaceutical company, or if it's an advertising company. Some of these skill sets that you've mentioned is hot because these skills exist in almost every industry and every domain. So some of these roles that you've mentioned is available within our company as well. And wherever you apply, you can forget about the domain that you're applying with. You can basically you have to just watch out for what it takes to get into such role and such company, isn't it? Now the first point that comes to my mind when Rahul asked this question is what kind of tech edge that one should have to get into this company, right? um, Beyond the resume is the single answer that I would like to give you, right? Now ATS is one way a boon for us to just um, doesn't have to screen a lot of CVs manually to get into the right kind of a CV. Now the ATS filters through the Boolean strings and keywords and automatically fetches out CVs which is in line with the job description, right? Job description have a set of keywords. The CV has a set of keywords. Basically, ATS validates the most number of keywords versus the most number of keywords mentioned in the job description, matches and throw the best possible 15, 20, 30 odd CVs for the recruiters view, and the recruiters basically view those sort of 30 CVs and then start talking to those candidates. So some of the CVs gets lost in that process, right? So it is important that you should have a tech edge, but it is more important to have those tech skills tech stacks mentioned in the CV for us to even get to look at your CV in that search. That's my first point that I would like to quote it here, right? um, Second point is, when you upload your CV in Naukri, most often than not, you cater those CVs for a general audience. It doesn't matter, it doesn't know which recruiter from which company will pick those CVs. That's why it's very important that you cater the CV based on the job description, study the JD, tweak the job profile according to the, because most times you might have those skill sets but it is not clearly mentioned in the CV. So it has to be very important that you tweak the CV based on the job description. So it becomes very important for the recruiter to clearly understand that the tech stacks what I look for as a recruiter versus what you have in the CV clearly matches before even we shortlist the CV and then choose to call and speak to you in detail. At that point of time you will probably explain a lot of what you have and what you don't have, but before that stage, this stage is very important. That's what I would like to answer to your question, Rahul.
Thank you for the insights, Balaji. Keep the momentum on and go to the second part. Balaji, when you review resumes or portfolios for media, design, or advertising roles, what makes one profile stand out in the first
Hmm.
few seconds? Is it just tools and skills like Figma, AI tools, campaign metrics, etc., or do you also look for deeper signals like storytelling, clarity of thinking, and relevance to current industry needs?
Okay, so to keep it short, right? I mean, first advice I would give is to have probably a 1 or 2 page CV at the max. This is applicable for the freshers. This is applicable for an experienced candidate. The current trend is it has to be probably a 2 page CV and not more than that at max. Number two, as I told you earlier, the clear key skills that one is mentioned in the top of the CV is the first attraction point for even get filtered in the search. Number three, what is very important is the show reel. If it is a design role that I'm hiring for, I would look for a show reel or portfolio. If it is a tech role that I'm looking for, one probably should have probably a project link which you would have got into the GitHub or any other platform where click of the link, if a panel or if a recruiter can look at a glimpse of whatever you have done as a glance. This basically outsmarts at least more than two-thirds of the CVs behind you, and your CV consideration comes well ahead of when compared to most of the CV. So I think the certifications, badges, credentials, showreel, portfolios, and the project links. These are the different aspects which basically takes the front seat and be in top of the CV as the number top five attraction points when it comes to what it takes to bypass others. And I mean, we're talking about pre-interview stage, right? When we're talking about not during the interview, this is like to even get to the interview stage, what it takes to get into the search, and what it takes to shortlist a CV. I think these are the top five that comes to my mind, Rahul.
Yeah, thank you, Balaji, for your insights. So let's move to the next question, which is related to interview part. And I can see most of the audience is asking about the interview part as well, how to face the interviews.
Hmm.
So, Balaji, from your experience, what actually makes a candidate appear ready for the media and advertising world? Is it their communication or idea pitching, their understanding of brand or business problems, or their ability to use AI or tech in campaigns, or something else beyond technical or creative skills? Your views.
So advertising world is a bit little finicky. I mean, we look for a creative mind. I mean, one can come in and claim him or herself as a designer or art director or a visualizer or a UX designer. But I think the portfolio will probably dictating to the fact, even if we don't even sometimes go for an assessment, the portfolio defines what the candidate's caliber is all about, right? Apart from the CV. So even the CV in advertising world itself is slightly very different. It's a very colorful CV that we usually see in the advertising world, and it talks about the character, the sense, the taste of a candidate, and further there'll always be a portfolio link in any candidate appears for a from a design world. So when you go to the portfolio, it basically give you an idea of what kind of candidate this is all about. But I'm stepping back and talking for other non-creative roles, right? There are tech roles we hire, there are project management roles we hire. But so in general, once the CV is shortlisted, when we appear for an interview, I think we are okay if you come without an understanding of the domain, because that's not your problem. I mean, sometimes it has to come in and get settled yourself to get to know about the culture and the company's core USPs and all that, right? But what is very important is to come prepared for an interview from a role point of view. You've got a job description, right? You've got a job description, and you have some of the job postings that you could see for the same job um, in the job portals, which talks about the skills required, must to have skills, good to have skills, and verify yourself in terms of out of 10 how much you would rate for yourself versus what is asked for, and then be honest about that in the interview. I think if you talk a lot about your strength and showcase with real time examples is what people love to hear. I mean, if there is a question without answering very generally, if you go to specifics and if you throw a real time scenario, or even, sir, can I just show you, share a screen and take you through of one of a project that I have done, and take them through of a practical scenario that you have done. That's what I think it attracts these days, because um, we are we are we're going to a lean approach where we don't do multiple levels of interviews these days, which is both a blessing and a curse, because we have to take a call within a couple of interview levels. So the practical, because sometimes you might come across as not somebody who's communicating a lot, and you might not be an extrovert. You might probably not come across who can articulate what you think deep inside. Those could be your challenges, right? So to combat those challenges, I strongly suggest you have a portfolio link, or probably take a moment and ask their permission to share the screen and show a walkthrough of what you have done. Could probably be the game changer in the interview, if I can just not dilute and answer that one point what you asked for, Rahul. That could be the game changer. Yeah.
Definitely. And I think you have answered most of the questions which audience has already been asking in the chat related to interviews. And that's a very powerful reminder you have given to the audience that clarity, storytelling, and structured pitching often signal readiness more than anything else is important. And I am sure that's actionable for our audience as well. So I just want to move to our next question, which is related to recruitment process. So students are curious about how the hiring process works in advertising and media tech companies from application to offer. Could you walk us through that typical journey and also explain how AI tools like ATS portfolio filters and online assessments have changed the way corporates hire today?
Yeah. So as I told you earlier, we bank on ATS. What ATS is, what ATS does is basically it automatically publish the job posting in a company's career website, LinkedIn, some of the job portals which we have integrated with the ATS. Right, it automatically publishes the job in the market. The next day morning when you log in, you already see about 300 odd applications that ATS fetches from the different places that it has posted. So LinkedIn applicants the LinkedIn the people would have applied. So it will fetch CVs from LinkedIn, it will fetch CVs from Naukri, it will fetch CVs from different career website and everything, right? And all those CVs clubbed together will be in that particular application database of that particular job. So if you go to that job, go to the application stage, you will find 300 odd CVs, right? Now, with the use of ATS, you give the must to have skills based on the job description, and the ATS filters the best 30, 40, 60, whatever filtrations that ATS does. It filters and throws like the good set of CVs saying that these are probably matching to the job description, right? Now the recruiter manually starts validating those 40, 50 CVs and pick good 20, 30 CVs, start talking to the candidates, and then scheduling them for an interview. Now, this is stage one. Stage two, when you go for an interview, basically these days we have about three levels of interviews. First level is a first level technical interview with the hiring panel. And if you clear an interview, there could be a technical assessment followed by an interview. That could be a remote assessment or could be asked to come in for an assessment. But these assessments are the real POC simulations that we do in day-to-day aspects. It is not. It'll be very similar to what we do in the office. We'll probably just give you an example. If we create a poster or if we create a brochure in the for a particular brand, we will just mimic of what is a real-time work that we do, a web page or a static email or a responsive newsletter, anything for that matter. We create a dummy file which hides the brands that we are currently working for confidential reasons, but we create a very stimulated identical work that we generally do, and we, with the instructions clearly mentioned, we give the files we ask the candidates to do. We give them few hours or a day based on the complexity of assessment, and we ask them to do. Now, in the floor, when somebody takes this much time with this much quality, with this much output, we have a qualifying criteria. But when it comes to a candidate, we have a relaxed criteria because this is not an in-house employee who's taking assessment. This is basically a candidate from the outside world. So we have a cutoff that depends from department to department. If you crack the basic assessment, generally the panel says that they look for about 60 to 70% ready, and the other 30% they don't mind hiring and then training up to the speed within the good 3 months from the time of joining. So if you're 70% ready, I think the hiring managers generally are open to consider and take you inside as a general observation from a TA standpoint. And once you clear the technical assessment, there'll be one final interview with probably a senior panel member from the same department. And with that, the interviews gets completed. We will have one HR interview at the final stage as a formality. And if you are thorough, I think we can go forward for an offer stage. This is a general process that we follow.
So, Balaji, since you mentioned ATS in your talk currently, and I can see most of the questions are coming related to ATS, and I would like to catch one question. So, Kasamuthu is asking where I can check that my resume is ATS friendly. I think he is asking about the good resources for that, because what is happening with him in most of the cases, this is the reason he is not even selected for the first round.
No, I think I'm very it's a good question. It's a very important question because I think that self-realization is very important for one to understand where one can possibly get wrong and then work on that. I think that's a very important question, and I actually thank him for that question. You're right. I think we will. One of the agenda for this today's call is to look for about a couple of CVs for your reference. We've got that agenda in the pipeline. Few at least a couple of years back, you have to pay some premium amount to some of these job portals for you to get the good resume written. Right now, with a simple chat GPT will give you, if you throw the job description and if you throw the basic CV that you currently have and tweak the, I mean, you should not be like quoting something that you've not done at all. I mean, let's be very clear about it. I'm not asking you to mention the skills that you have not learned or worked with, right? We're talking about skills that you know, but you fail to illustrate that in the CV. So the key skills that you mention should have literally almost all the skills that you know for a fact that you at least know to a certain extent. Because the more skill sets that you have, the certifications that you have, the internship that you have done, all these, right, will possibly be the, I mean, the ATS will basically look for the key skills that is in the job description versus the key skills that is mentioned in the CV after all. And based on that, it segregates the CV, and it is a simple SEO logic, right? I mean, your CV comes first based on how many key skills in the job description matches to the skills that is mentioned in the CV. So I think you may have to work on the tech summary that you write in the CV and the tech stacks that you mentioned in the CV very, very boldly and very clearly. So your CV can come in the first search within the ATS to answer that question. But we will see the CV review, some of the CVs that I liked, I had shared with Rahul and the team, so we can go through that as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So I request all the attendees to stay attentive as we are moving towards a new segment in today's Jobinar. And I'm sure the audience, this is going to be most extremely helpful segment for you. So real-time feedback on resumes and portfolios is something students rarely get. So please pay close attention to the nuances with which Balaji highlights. We have a few student resumes and portfolios with us, as Balaji mentioned, and
I think this is one example of a fresher's CV, right? I mean, we're talking about, let's talk about one junior level, one mid level, and one senior level. This is a classic example of a junior level CV. So you can't showcase much because of the fact that you might not have experience yet. So I think if you go to the top of the CV, if you can go to the top of the CV, you should possibly mention the badges. The badges, when I mean, is the certifications, right? I think one attraction portion in the top right side of the CV is never post a resume hoping that it is a generalist. I mean, don't declare yourself as a generalist, right? I mean, it should not be the fact that someone who's looking at a developer should also pick your CV, and someone who's looking at a tester should also be looking at your CV, right? You can't dilute yourself. By this time, when you come out of the college, you should probably have two options that you should freeze in for, and your CVs should probably be storytelling to the recruiter that you belong to this category, you are looking for this kind of a job. Let's be very clear about it. If you are confusing yourself, you will might as well confuse the recruiter as well. So the badges, certifications that if you are a data analyst or a data reporting analyst, do you have a Microsoft Power BI certifications, like Microsoft, I mean, if you have got a data science, data reporting certification, if you've got any certifications from TCS, iON, for example. I mean, some of these reputed institutions, whatever certifications or whatever exams that have cleared, please mention on top right portion of the CV, and don't think that it will be silly. I mean, any certifications, at least if you are a fresh, if you're a fresher, that is an address for you, right? For an experienced candidate, I think the companies that you've worked will probably take a lead. But if you're a fresher, the certifications comes very important. That the top portion is dedicated for that. Summary should talk about. This is a classic example. This candidate wants to do wants to become an AI engineer, right? So he's not beating around the bush. The first word talks about I want to become an AI engineer. AI engineer and innovator expertise in automation. That is the single line. He has clearly defined what he wants. So when I was looking this guy for a, I was looking at a fresher, at a junior AI analyst with some bit of. I wanted an AI engineer with a uh, with a trained fresher, right? I don't want somebody who can start from scratch. So I wanted to hire an AI engineer who has done some certifications, who has got some bit of understanding of how AI works, how prompting works, how whether he has done some integration with NIT and some bit of understanding that is already done. Has he done an internship with any company as previously with through with an AI? So when I started looking at the CV, he was already determined that he wants to become an AI engineer, right? So at least he knows what he wants. I know what I want. So this is a CV that I shortlisted instantly when I saw the summary. Key skills, I wanted to see JavaScript and Python as a combination in this CV. I wanted AI and ML tech stacks mentioned in the CV. And when I started looking at the key skills, there you go. You've got all the series that I was looking for. This is what he had mentioned. So his aspiration to become an AI engineer complements to the skill sets that is mentioned in the in the key skills and expertise portion, right? So what you want to become and the tech stacks what you should mention should not be different. That point you should always keep it in mind. If you are a data scientist, right? If you want to become a data scientist, the key skills and expertise should talk about the skills within the data science spectrum, right? So that is something that I wanted to be very clear. Experience. He's a junior level candidate with a couple of 1 2 years of experience. And I strongly suggest before you finish your college and apply elsewhere, please do an internship somewhere, not for namesake. Do an internship with the role that you wanted to go. If you want to get into cybersecurity, please make sure you do an internship or a project within a company, even though they are giving you a stipend or not. Do it for an internship purpose for the same role that you wanted to build a career. By third year of your college, um, you should be very clear of where you want to go, what you want to do. So the internship should right be on the spot. So when I look for a data scientist fresher, I usually look for a data scientist fresher who has done certification in data science, who has got some bit of internship experience before. So it'll be easy for us to train a fresher because he or she is not coming from a scratch. So this CV has a clear experience, clear key skills, and a clear summary. So I don't even want to go to the page 2. He has done projects and he is coming from the relevant stream. If you could see, he has done BTech artificial intelligence and data science. Almost every portion of the CV is relevant to each other, is very related to each other, right? So this is the focus that I'm expecting all the freshers to have. And this is one classic example. I mean, the CV is not very attractive from an aesthetic point of view, but the CV is great top-notch content when it comes to what I was looking for versus what they have. So hence this profile was shortlisted, and I'm sharing that information inputs to you so you could prepare one accordingly. Let's go to the next CV. Okay, this is a mid-level profile. I was looking for a front-end developer role. Now the summary talks about to the fact that it starts with I am a front-end developer. He is not beating around the bush. He or she is not telling I am a developer, because it raises a question whether it is he a back-end developer or a front-end developer, right? So he's declaring himself. I'm front-end developer with a strong passion, blah blah blah. Technical skills, it talks about I wanted HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript, and the technical skills mentions the clear experience, roles, and all about it. Now this is a current this is a current employee of us. So, but previously, if you talk about they come as a front-end developer. It talks about the responsibilities clearly mentioned at the bottom. So we could see that he has built through HTML, he has animated through CSS, and then he's scripted using the different frameworks within the JavaScript. So when it is JavaScript, you should mention what frameworks you've used and different tech stacks that you've currently worked with. The previous experience is also coming from front-end development. So the first job you could land accidentally, incidentally, but you should figure out what you want to do, where you want to go. From then onwards, you can change companies, but you should not change the role, right? If you are a developer, you should probably be a developer within the same, probably same programming. If you're good in JavaScript, there are a lot of JavaScript related development roles you could take in the future. But if you go to JavaScript and then come out and then do Ruby on Rails, right? And that sort of diversity you could probably love to do, but it is not considered as a family of skill sets that one HR could look for. If it is a full stack developer, we would look for JavaScript with front end. If it is a backend, if you've done Drupal, then PHP becomes a very related skill sets with Drupal. So you should understand what are the different programming language you can group in one family and then work on it. If you're a .NET candidate, C#, ASP.NET, right? So it all comes with Python. You can group in at one side of it. So you should figure out what tech stacks that you would want to master, and the resume should be very focused as this one is. Let's go to the final CV, which is basically a senior level candidate, and you could see how a senior level candidate's profile clearly stands out when it comes to the junior and mid level. I think one will probably have to figure out as he or she progresses through their career. The certifications comes in the beginning, so they are very clear to tell us that they are masters in what they are applying for, right? And then comes the clear career objective. It talks about who am I? Am I a lead? Am I a developer? Or am I an architect? So this candidate declares that I'm an architect or a technical manager. So if it is for a technical lead, please don't call me. I am an architect, so please call me if at an architect or a technical manager level, right? That's the declaration that he's trying to give in the career objective. On the left portion, the key skills, whatever you saw in the junior and mid-level candidate, they were writing, and here he has done it in a data visualization point of view. He has clearly mentioned and rated each skills of what he is at intermediate level, what he is at advanced level, and what he is at a beginner level, right? And he talked the professional experience, talks about the company, the client, how many duration clearly. See how he or she's called out, right? Highlights roles and development, what tech stacks has worked, whether it is an implementation or a maintenance project. So this CV, when I spoke to, so I was just telling that you don't have to be a senior to come out and prepare such CV. You could possibly be a junior, you can still come out with such attractive CV. More chances to get into an interview stage. I think to an interview stage, it is HR and candidate's journey, right? After the interview, it is the journey between the candidate and the hiring department and the hiring panel, and HR facilitates in that journey. But until the interview stage, I think it is very important for you to prepare well and be focused enough, and talk what you want clearly. These days, freshers are not blank. Freshers are super smart. They have done internship, they have done showreels, they've done projects, and they've clearly mentioned certifications. By the time they come out of the college, they clearly know what they want. Communication is very good, right? And they have done a lot of AI research before they come here. I think preparation is very important these days, very basic these days. Unpreparedness is basically a sin in today's context. So these are the three CVs I would love to go through. I hope this review was useful. These three CVs. Over to you, Rahul.
Yeah, definitely. It's useful, and I hope students and audience are making notes of what you were explaining to them. The way you showed us what to include, what to avoid, and how to fix those resume gaps was really an eye-opener. And I'm sure everyone here now has a much clear idea of what an ideal resume should look like. Thank you, Balaji. Thank you for that. So I can see one or two questions related to certifications. Dave is asking any recommended certifications by you. Okay, so let's take me to our next section related to courses which we have in collaboration with TCS. So as a part of our commitment to bring you the best career opportunities, TCS IN presents two exceptional programs launched in collaboration with TIH, TIDH, IIT Guwahati and Ideas ISI Kolkata. Start with AI in FinTech by IIT Guwahati. This is a 3-month live online course that shows how artificial intelligence is being used in the world of finance. You will learn here about real life applications like fraud detection, credit scoring, risk analysis, or algorithmic trading. Sessions are led by IIT Guwahati professors and fintech experts, making it easy to understand both technical and financial concepts. Whether you are from a financial background or a technical one, this course helps you to build skills that are in high demand today. You will also get hands-on experience with tools used in industry, and at the end, of course, you will receive a certification from TIH, TIDH, IIT Guwahati, and TCSI. So links has been posted in the chat box. You can see the QR code as well on your screen. You can directly take a snapshot and start your learning journey. Quickly, let's move to the next course, which we have. The name is Applied Agentic AI in Modern Data Engineering by ISI Kolkata. So we have launched this program, which is developed by IDS Kolkata in collaboration with TCS. And this program blends agentic AI with modern data engineering, giving hands-on experience in data ingestion, storage, processing, orchestration, and AI-driven automation. Here you will learn directly from SI professors and industry experts, work on real projects, explore modern tools like data lakehouse technologies, stream processing, orchestration tools, MLOps, and AI powerful workflows. On completion, you will receive a co-branded digital certificate as well. So if you are serious about building a future in emerging technology, these certificate programs are your first big step. It's designed to give you practical skills, recognized credentials, and a clear edge in the job market. I would request scan the QR code now, start your journey today. Don't wait, because the sooner you begin, the sooner you stand out in this fast growing field. So lastly, I would request Balaji as well, in case if he want to add or throw some light, how students can leverage these kind of courses which TCSIN is offering. Your views.
Yeah, I think, yeah, see, I'm a very strong believer in getting those knowledge, right? I mean, if you are, I mean, see, you can't basically just stop with what you have learned in the college. You probably have to take an extra yard to, there are a lot of courses, there are a lot of workshops going around, but it's very important to get into a reputed institutions, organizations, to get the right certifications where you basically gain the knowledge. I can't think of a better brand more than TCS, right? I mean, it's probably very easy pick, in my opinion. You probably should explore what you need. You just have to be very clear of what you want to do, and then ask the right people within the TCS team to ask if my aspiration is this. Is there any certifications which is complementing to these set of skills that I'm looking for? And then get the right certification program, get the knowledge, get the badge, get the certification, put the credential on top of the CVM, TCS certified, you know, AI analyst or something, right? I mean, that's a great badge to have. I mean, when I graduated, like 16, 17 years, when I didn't have such, there was like very few premium institutions that I had to bank on, right? I mean, these days, I think it's fine. I'm not telling that the course fee is for everyone's cup of tea here, but then at some point we have to invest in terms of what we need and what we have to do, and then get into the right platform. I think it's very important to crack that first job, isn't it? I mean, you are a fresher and you have to meet the right people, right company, right skills to get the first job, get that career set for you in first 3 years before you kickstart, and then your experience will take you through to the next levels. But to start and get into that first job, I think these credentials really is important, is my opinion.
It's a very commendable view, I think, and students will make most of it. I hope so. So let's move to our next section now, that is Q&A. So I would like to start with the first question, which is asked by Palchan. He is asking, is it compulsory that a CV should contain one page only, or it's a fact that it looks like it should be precise, it will attract the HR or recruiter?
I mean,
Any strategy?
it's not a really a mandate that one should just keep it within first page or second page. But then, generally speaking, the patients these days are not much. Honestly speaking, it's not. I mean, no one takes time to look at the 4-page CV these days, right? I mean, so whatever information that you want to do, want to have, if you could just keep it concise within the first and second page, I think that would probably uh, be clear, not diluted, and be very focused, in my opinion. So that's my take on that front.
Thank you for that. Uh, Abhishta is asking, I have tried to apply some companies with my CV, but CVs are not selected after having all the keywords. And nowadays, what she has observed that ATS scores are like in one side only. If he checked from one side, it's 40%, and in another side, it is 83%. So how to understand that the CV is good enough or it's lacking something?
Yeah, see, I think Edis is also very smart in terms of Gen AI these days. Basically, it even go to an extent that whether the candidate has declared that he or she is aware of this particular skill set, or whether he or she has worked in the particular skill set, or he or she has gained knowledge in this skill set. So I think it's not about the skill sets that you mentioned, but also write clearly that you know the skill, or you are experienced in the skill, or you're just learning the skill. So that far you probably may have to be very clear enough. I think you don't have to be telling yes and declare that you know absolutely every skill that is required out there. If you can play within your strength, if you know only 4 to 5 skills based on what job JD requires versus what you have, I think it is still fine. All I'm telling is be clear in what you're declaring, so it becomes easy for the other one to understand what you know, what you don't know, and we can still talk about your strength rather than talking about your weakness.
Okay, okay. Shweta is asking, I think you already answered, but in case if you want to summarize, how to prepare for interview questions and what are the questions we have to aware of that?
Open secret, right? I mean, the first question, as you might imagine, what tell me about yourself. It starts with tell me about yourself, right? Tell me about yourself. These days, we're not asking you to elaborate more about your personal life or personal family and stuff. We just wanted you to understand only one thing. I've done my background when it comes to academic qualification is this much, and for last 2 3 years I've been working to say becoming a full stack developer. In that process, I've done internship in these companies, I've done certifications with these courses, NIIT, there are a lot of institutions, Microsoft, SAP, Oracle, whatever you've done. And I've done projects when it comes to some of these automations. If we can take you through, this is a project link I've mentioned in the CV. Please have a go through. And I've done few freelance works in my in last 2 years. I've done some apps. I've worked with some of my friends from on site. I've delivered few projects within this tech stacks. I mean, those tell me about yourself talks about these things in the first statement itself. So generally they say like my name is so and so. I'm coming from this place. I've done my college here, and I've got to I've come from this particular city. I've got two degrees, UGs from here, PGs from here, right? I mean, it talks a lot about what you have done from the schooling, from childhood till college. But rather, if you can just go bang on and say that I've done, this is the background I'm coming from a academic credentials point of view. This is where you're trying to go. On the process, I've done these things. So in that introduction, we clearly understand that okay, he or she, and they know what they're talking, and we can directly go to the next question where it is very focused and specific. Okay, you've done project. Can you tell me what sort of project you've done? It goes to like question number 10 or 11. We can skip all the formalities and go to direct. You know what I mean, right?
Definitely, definitely, Balaji. I hope that answers the question. So let's take the next question. Akshit is asking, sir, can you please suggest us to check ATS source website of any other application, or Would you like to suggest any ATS application?
No, see, ATS is not meant for you to be worried about, right? I mean, it is every company have their own ATS these days. Some of them are inbuilt tools, some of them are licensed products.
Mhm.
There are a lot of ATS, a lot of greenhouse workday, lot of tools coming in. This at this time, I think I'm hearing almost new names in every like 1 month or two. So it is for the TA to be fluent. It is from a candidate's point of view. You don't have to be worried about it. You have to be worried about what is in your control, where you can prepare a great CV and make sure that you wait for an opportunity. I was also You also probably have to apply and then reach out to possibly the HR through the LinkedIn network. I think one of the feedback that I want to give you is from the mid-level experience, I'm finding the candidates are very active in LinkedIn, and from the senior level, absolutely active. Junior level beginners think that we have not got to a level to be active in LinkedIn or create a network. I think the secret is you prepare your CV, you post in the job portal, and then when you apply for a company, please take a moment to write a customized message and reach the concerned HR if possible, or research who is the right person in that company. Go to LinkedIn, create a message, because you can't connect with everyone until they connect you back, right? So you can send a message. So try to reach out to the architects of different people, senior people out there, and politely, no, don't nudge them. Please don't get me wrong, don't disturb them, but send a polite message that I've applied for this role in this company. I'm very aspired to join this company. The job description is very much in line with what I'm aspiring to. If you could probably consider my candidature to a point of an interview, I'll be more than happy to showcase my skills. Right? That's for that outreach has to come from the candidate these days. Country like India, that the supply is always higher than the demand. So you may probably doesn't have to just apply and keep it mum, but go to LinkedIn, outreach them, and look at, try to see if you're able to connect with these people out there, and you will not know. I mean, at least 2 3 out of 10 could probably reply you back and say, you know what, okay, is there a job application number or job ID? I can probably have a word with HR, or even if there's an HR, I'll say, okay, let me check, and then reply back, say, yeah, I saw the CV. We will take your profile forward. Now your profile would have been into 244th application. Because of this outreach, right? They could probably still say to the team member, you know what, this candidate reached out to me, can you please talk to this candidate? They directly bypass the queue and come to you. Things happens, right? I mean, just take some steps. I mean, you don't have to literally follow this template. I mean, whatever I suggest today, you don't have to do it. I mean, these are just my suggestions, probably inputs. Whatever you feel it is relevant, appropriate, you feel it is making sense, take those and ignore those points. Whichever it works out for you, you can be happy to take those points alone. That's what I suggest.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I can see one more question from Anjani. She is asking about the relevant keywords for applying in different companies for different roles. So any guidance related to keywords, Balaji?
I'm telling, those are the times that if you apply in job portals like Monster, Naukri, a lot of portals are there. You apply in Naukri, you don't know who will pick your CV, because one might come, a recruiter will look for a tester or a developer, because you might think that whichever role we end up taking, your profile should be picked. That is what you aspire to, but that is not practically feasible. You apply for a set of roles, and you prepare your CV for that set of roles, and you post that CV in the portal for that set of role. So when that set of role, when recruiters come and try to pick the CV, your CV should come in front. If you diluting yourself to make it sound like jack of all trades, and your CV might not be picked up anywhere. So the keywords has to be focused. If it is a JavaScript family, that family skill sets should alone be there. If you are putting JavaScript there, and then say that you're also very good in some of the skills that, say for example, PHP or some family of skills that is not relevant to that family at all, it might be slightly confusing to the recruiter who's looking at your CV. So the keyword should be very focused and relevant and specific of what you want to do. In that journey, you may lose some of opportunities out there. Where if you're declaring yourself that you want to only get into development, then somebody who's looking at manual testing role might not look at your CV. You should be okay enough to take that risk, right? um, at one point you probably might want to say any job in IT is fine. I don't think you should get into the desperate mode, at least, yes, at least so soon. Try to get into that aspiration and prepare the keywords, key skills only for that particular set of roles, and wait for that opportunity. Connect with people. I think networking is the key. I'm telling you today, if your if your networking is very good, the chances of getting placed is very higher. It is as simple as that. Yeah. One of the question was very nice. I mean, it is not about whether you are doing a right answer or wrong answer in that interview. I think they will look at the approach. If the approach is very good, and if you have an understanding of the question, and if your approach is right, but the answers are wrong, I think the panel are still okay to consider you. So that's the answer to one of the questions.
So, Balaji, before we wind up, any final thoughts for the audience, since we don't want to lose this opportunity since you are here.
For coming to this call is very simple. I just thought the expectations from the recruiter's point of view with the expectations from the candidate's point of view should probably you know um, should come closer, and the gaps are not narrowed. So the whole point of my discussion today is to probably give you as much as insights and practical examples possible to understand that the resume writing is indeed an art. With these AI tools in picture, it is very easy to build a good CV, and it is very important to get uh, right CV to get shortlisted first before it creates an opportunity for you to talk to the hiring manager or the recruiter as part of the interview stage. And that is a different set of skill sets altogether. So writing a resume is an art, and cracking an interview is another art, right? Once you crack an interview, once you go to the first job, I think the life in on the floor will basically teaches you. After that, that it will you will things will take off. I mean, that will take care of its own. So until that point of time, I think you need to probably my only message is, don't get diluted with what you write, what you think, what you aspire to. It has to be very specific, it has to be very focused, and it has to be very clear and concise. The thought clarity and articulation, and what you want to do, what you want to talk, what you want to aspire to. Be professional. I think the way that you speak, the way that you agree to disagree, the way that you behave yourself, the way that you manage yourself, talk to someone out there, all matters these days. If you've got a good skills, and if attitude is not right, or if attitude is very good, communication is not right, or if everything is there but skill sets are not nice, so everything will go on a toss. So I think you have to be thinking about, aspiring to take baby steps and then improve yourself day by day. At one point of time you will be in thorough professional. Learning will still be there. 15 years plus, I still consider myself as a beginner, or probably not to the level that I'm supposed to be at. Right? Everyone should probably think that they've got a lot of learning, that is there at any age or at any experience range. So keep learning, keep thriving. I think there should be hunger, and we should always be kind and respectful for with whoever you interact, be it during the interview, be with peers, be with subordinates, be with people that you interact with, and that will probably take you to the different levels as you grow in your career and in life. That's my final message to all of you. Thank you for the opportunity. Again, I think my heartfelt felt. This is the second time I am doing a webinar with TCS iON. From an industry point of view, for me, it's just a little gesture to go to the colleges or do a guest lecture, talk to the students, because I think I owe you that friend. You are in corporate, you are in industry. There are people out there who's trying to come inside the companies. So if there are little messages or inputs or suggestions that you have to give, I think it is part of my corporate social responsibility. That's the only motto that I came here. I hope the session was useful. And again, thank you, TCS Zion, for the great opportunities to be privileged to part of such a collaborate with such a brand and talk to this, because I can't get a good platform to talk to 500. I mean, I don't know how many participants we've captured today. This number is just mind-boggling, right? I think one platform, one shot, talk to so many students. It's a great experience. Thank you all for listening. It's been 1 hour. I thanks to all of you, and a happy new year. We are flag end of the year, and I wish a great year for all of you. Thanks.
Thank you, Balaji. Thank you for your kind words. And I think it's all our privilege to have you today in this session. And it's really been interesting to see you how you were explaining and reviewing the resumes live. I think it's incredibly insightful, and hope audience were also making notes and they have not missed this. So thank you once again, our esteemed guest Balaji Sridhar, for your insights. And thank you, audience, for staying here.